Hello, good day, Mr. Amir. I'm Prophet Helmut Ruscher. I comes from Germany and I'm ready to take your questions.
We welcome Mr. Helmut Ruscher, Mr. Zaid Khan Sahab, Mr. Athar Ali, Mughal man, and all dear group members of Pure Discussion Group. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to all of you. We welcome you, Mr. Ruscher. First of all, please introduce yourself. For example, your birthplace, your basic religion, your qualifications, if you are comfortable in this question, sir.
Hello, Mr. Amir. I'm Helmut Ruscher, Prophet, and I have been born in Germany, in Weissenburg, and my profession was industrial salesman and businessman, and I was raised up in Catholic religion.
Mr. Ruscher, what was your age when you first interact with Mr. Zahid Khan or his teachings? How he came to know about Mr. Khan and his teachings, sir? First interaction of yours, please.
Hello. 40 years ago, I went to one seminar in Holland, and many Christians went there, and there I saw also Mr. Khan, and he was giving lectures, and he was very inspiring, and there I came to know him. I was 24 at this time.
Thanks, Mr. Ruscher. Sir, do you think that Mr. Khan's teachings can bring the world on one platform, sir?
Absolute, I believe that this teaching which Mr. Khan giving is the best teaching and can bring the religions together, and religions cannot bring by themselves God back in their life, but with this teaching you can have a personal relationship with God.
Mr. Ruscher, have you read all his books, means Mr. Khan's books? And if yes, or if some books you have read, then which book you inspires the most, sir?
I read all books from Mr. Khan, and each book brought me to special experiences and observations with God, and brought me nearer to God.
Mr. Ruscher, as you were Catholic, Christian we may say, by birth, and you were at the age of 24 years, and 24 years of age is, I think, sufficient to know about the religion very well. Your parents, you have often visited the churches with your parents also. You could have known about the Jesus Christ, that he is Son of God and he will come again, and Jesus Christ is born without father. So now what are your beliefs, sir, regarding Jesus Christ, sir? Please बताएं. Please tell. Thank you.
I was an ordinary Christian, and then I came to know Mr. Khan, and I followed his teachings, and also my family followed. And in Germany, many Christians which went out from the Christian church find this teaching very attractive, and they are very inspired to Mr. Khan and his teachings.
What are your beliefs, sir, regarding Jesus Christ? Do you think he has been he is born without father, or do you think he is Son of God, sir?
Jesus got the is a son of God, a spiritual son of God, and he will never come back with a physical body. Now Mr. Khan is a Messiah, and he is a central person in God's providence. My old Christian belief is gone, is over, and now we have one family world with God, and this new teaching by God and for the world. Jesus took many teachings with him, which he did not express when he was as Messiah on earth. And now Mr. Khan gives so many good teachings which can very much help for European society and even for the world society to have a personal relationship with God.
No human being can be the father of Jesus Christ in this world, sir? Or there are some chances that any human being, any man, may be father of Jesus Christ, sir? Please, straight question, and if you may give a straight answer, sir.
Yes, in the past I thought too that Jesus must have one physical father, and many people in Germany and also in Europe have this question that Jesus must have one physical father. And Mr. Khan, as Messiah, revealed this secret, and the high priest Zechariah is a physical father from Jesus. I met many times by myself God, and also God revealed to me that the high priest Zechariah is a physical father of Jesus. And in our movement are more than 10,000 people, and many of them are already prophet, and which had personal relationship with God, which met God and saw God.
Mr. Ruscher, at the age of 24, you came to know about Mr. Khan. What was your age when you saw God yourself? You realized that you are seeing God with your naked eyes, sir. First of your spiritual experiment, please explain.
And also God told these other prophets that the high priest Zechariah is a physical father of Jesus. Three years later, I prayed on this tree where Mr. Khan met God first time, when God appeared to Mr. Khan, and also I could meet God by this tree, and I saw God with open eyes, and I cried so much for 3 days even. After this, many times I went with Mr. Khan as Messiah to God, and I can share also. I fly vertical with Mr. Khan. I saw God and I saw heavens and I saw many things.
Mr. Ruscher, did you not ever think, did ever thought that Khuda न खास्ता भी से मतलब that Mr. Khan may be a psycho in telling all these things, sir? Or you totally believe that he is telling truth and he is a prophet?
After I met and saw God, and what I observed after to see almost every day, I'm total sure that Mr. Khan is a Messiah and God's heart, and I think the most people of the world are blind and they have problems. I am convinced the time of religions is over, and religious people are blind. They have no a personal, individual relationship with God.
Mr. Ruscher, whatever the teachings Mr. Khan gives, whatever, do you believe each and every statement of him? Or do you believe that 10%, 20% or some percentage may be his own stories? Or totally you are just like a believer that his 100% sayings are very, very true, sir?
The belief time is for me over. I have a personal, individual relationship with God, and I'm sure 100% Mr. Khan as Messiah in God's heart speaking the truth.
Mr. Ruscher, as talking to different religions, personalities, we have a very different imagination of the prophets or messengers of God. Means they were having beard, they were having different types of clothes. But Mr. Zahid Khan or Mr. Khan, you may say, is totally of a different personality. And I think I have not seen you yet, but you may be also like him. So do you think that prophesies may come to you like type of people, sir?
The time of different religions is over, and now 21st century is a time for God. And many young people and also respected people which have a high position in the society, doctors, politicians or business people, scientists joining. And do you think they are stupid?
Mr. Ruscher, I have heard many people, many, who claims that Mr. Khan is not a prophet, but he is a psycho person. So I think you may also have heard from the people these type of words. And I, Amir, I ask you a simple question. Why should I believe or which grounds should I believe that you are a prophet, sir? What will you say?
Many Asian people have a problem with Mr. Khan. Maybe they think he is have a psycho personality, but in Europe many people educated and they opening spiritual, and they found out he is the really the central person and prophet and Messiah in God's heart. In a very interesting point is people which are not in touch with any religion often they meet God more quick than people which was before in religions.
Mr. Ruscher, is it compulsory for me type of people to believe in you type of prophets, sir? If suppose I totally believe in God, in one God, I worship Him, I believe Him, and I do all my responsibilities or all my works with honesty, and I am afraid of God, and I am of the belief that if I will do nice work, I may be rewarded from God, and if I do evils, I may be punished from God. So, what is the need for me to be a believer of Mr. Khan as a prophet or Mr. Rusher for you that you are a prophet? Is it necessary or is it compulsory for me? What you would say?
For example, if you don't believe that I met God, then when, for example, Jesus or Mohammed express they met God, how you believe this? There is no proof, and people which have open heart for God and which longing to meet God, they can meet God. And religious people are blind. Many people which try to be just rational and open not their heart, they are in this stage. But you should find out and pray to God and pleasing God for signs. Then God can give you signs because God knows you better and He know what kind of signs you need, that you can be sure that this is a sign of God, and also who is Mr. Khan as Messiah and God's heart and prophet. Before I was also a good person and I did many good things, but this was not enough. Messiah and God's heart opened me spiritual, and I came to know the real sense, purpose, and Bestimmung of the life, my destiny, my destination. Through Mr. Khan, Messiah and God's heart, I came to know the real purpose of life, and he opened me spiritual. And you, which live on belief stage, you should think and reflect, and should be sincere to concern your life. What?
Mr. Rusher, different religions, different communities have different beliefs, the life after death. Muslims and Christians also, as you are a born Christian, believe that there is a very life after death also, which they may call spiritual life or something, and they also say that we all will be rewarded or will be punished. What are your now beliefs as you are a prophet yourself, sir?
Again, prophets and our people which belong to our movement, they are not in belief. I also by myself help many people to have living relationship with God. And the purpose of life is to have a love relationship with God, to be with God together. Time for belief is over, Mr. Amir. Why you don't understand this? Mr. Amir, you're talking from mind. To meet God, you need a big heart. First, love to God.
Mr. Rusher, as a prophet, what are your teachings towards the mankind that different religions have different stories regarding doing marriages? For example, Muslim performs nikah, Christians goes in church for marriage ceremony, marriage purposes. What are your teachings now? Marriage system is a legal system, should be continued, or living in relationship is the best option, sir?
In our movement, when we come together as men and women, we pray to God, and then God gives sign, and Mr. Khan as Messiah and God's heart give blessing. And we don't have marriage like in religions. Once again, you living in past and we live in present time with God. Religious people talking about past, and we talk about living relationship with God, present time.
In your movement, sir, it seems very well that Mr. Khan is your leader, sir. He is the main prophet and he has made you type of people prophets. I don't know how many of you are there presently. So what do you think, sir, besides having your own sources of income, means you may be an industrialist, you may be a serviceman, you may be a businessman, or Mr. Khan, or the people in your movement. Is there any income to you, all of you from movement? Do you collect donations from the people, and who are your main donors, sir? Please, thank you.
I am by myself, Mr. Amir, businessman, and we have many business people in our movement, and we support our movement by our own free will, and many have jobs too. We living not like Asian people. In our movement are very educated people, very intelligent and rational mind people, which can think very clear, but which have a desire to meet God, which are spiritual open.
Mr. Ruscher, as a common man or as a common person, I am also a businessman. I believe in God. I told you earlier also. What is the need for me type of people to join your association or your movement, sir? And if suppose I do not join your movement, what is the difference there?
European people normally have everything external, but the longing to receive spiritual truth. They won't find out spiritual truth, the reality in this field.
Mr. Ruscher, if suppose we are in Germany, there is Mr. Khan, a claimant of a prophet. You are also a claimant. Suppose I want to be a believer of a prophet. So what would be my decision? That may be best to be a believer of Prophet Khan or to be a believer of prophet like you, sir?
You don't have to join our movement, but if you don't join our movement and have no living relationship to God, you harm your spirit and you're blocking your spirit. If you don't join and have no if you join our movement or not, in the end you have a disadvantage for your spirit. This is what I'm saying, I mean.
Mr. Ruscher, you and me both were simple believers of God. Now you have been in a moment of Mr. Khan. You are claiming that you often sees God with yourself, sir. What changes do you find when you were a believer of different religions? So we were having different types of method of worshipping God. You may say Muslim perform namaz to worship him, Christian goes to church to worship the God. Now what are your teachings? Worshipping of God is necessary, mandatory, compulsory, and what the way should we adopt to worship Him? Or there is no need to worship God, sir?
Again, you are a believer. I'm not a believer anymore. And I have a living relationship with God. And before I worshipping and I had no peace in myself. But now I'm in peace and I receive love and light from God. Today I don't have the worship like in religions before. Today I bring people back to God. This is my service. Today I traveled many heavens, and today I'm helping to open people spiritually.
Mr. Ruscher, according to your teachings or whatever you are telling us, you are always in connection with God, sir. Okay, you joined the movement, sir. It is also nice. But each and every person has to face a death. It is a natural system. After death, do you think the story is complete and concluded? Or what would be the future of the dead body, sir?
For us, death has no meaning because we traveling every night in spiritual world. If you have light of God, you have life in spiritual dimension. We also bury our dead body, but Mut goes to Mut, and our spirit goes to God. Dust go to dust, and a spirit which has a light goes to God. Otherwise, you go in dark dimension.
Spirit, a light, goes to God. Then what is the future of that spirit, sir?
People which never met God, came to know God, they live in worries and they go in low dimension, but people which know the purpose of life and which have light, they go to God and to heavens. Worldly people live in worries, and spiritual persons which live in love with God, they live alive in a relationship with God.
Thanks, Mr. Ruscher, for coming and providing your teachings, your time. We are thankful and grateful to you, and we hope we will soon meet again. Thank you once again for coming in our pure discussion group, sir, with regard.
Thank you, Mr. Amir. You have given me the opportunity to witness about God. God is our goal and God is our home.
Mr. Helmut, Prophet, I also have a question from you. What is your universal message through the teaching of Messiah Zahid Khan for our listeners? Thank you so much.
This is my message, Mr. Amir. Please tell your children and your religious people, God is not a dead God, He's a living God. and God will have living relationships with him from each one.